game.
Alrighty, Willard and Dibs joining Steiny and Guru for the crossover. Steiny and Guru, we are adjacent to Chase Center. Willard and Dibs are in downtown San Francisco at the studio. What's going on, gentlemen? How you doing?
Fellas, how we doing?
Yeah.
Oh, dynamite.
Dibs, I'm in your seat. You were in yesterday, and Willard, Steiny's in yours.
Yeah. Actually, you kind of have that backwards because Mark was where you were and I was where Steiny was, but that's okay. Thanks for doing it, man.
Good reminder from yesterday again to both of you. We can see you, so behave accordingly. But I do want to start today by thanking you both. I appreciate you spending a good solid hour off the top of the show on would you draft Bronny James, because I think the Warriors heard it. They freaked out, and they're like,
There you go.
Like, we want no part of this. We don't even want 95.7 The Game talking about it. So let's just duck out of the draft now so we can end that conversation accordingly.
You know, Willard,
yes.
your boy Steiny enjoys
Third
hypotheticals.
person, yeah.
No.
He really does.
He shot 87 yesterday.
I meant that straightforward,
Of course.
straight shooter. Thank you both.
Guru, I don't get him sometimes. I was just saying, why not? 52. Who cares? Who cares? Take Bronny.
It was an
Who cares?
It was an
Give me
interesting
chaos.
No, but
that's what I want.
But it was an interesting take considering that they found someone at 57 a year ago, and I know you addressed that. And you said, yeah, but that's kind of a college 4-year ready player.
Exactly.
But so why couldn't you do that again? Why couldn't you do that again?
Find a new Trace Jackson.
Because this draft stinks.
Okay, that's fair, which I think is my takeaway from this trade. I think that we spoke to Larry Harris yesterday, and the way he talked about a draft board and then their behavior today suggests to me that they woke up today and went, guys, there's no good players left.
Yeah, and I'm real quick, guys. I'm glad you clarified that it was Larry Harris
Thank you.
yesterday and not Larry Riley, both with ties to the Golden State Warriors.
If it had been Larry Riley, that would have been a good get too.
No doubt.
But it wasn't.
No
it
doubt.
was Larry Harris.
No doubt. You could have asked him if he's still mad that Don Nelson tries to take credit for drafting Steph Curry when Larry Riley was the general manager.
It's crazy how we were able to pivot from a mistake and keep the guest on the line.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Well, let's see what you do when you have John Sally on the line.
We're efforting.
We are. And, we're hoping to get Lindy Waters III on today.
That is great.
The 26-year-old, almost 27-year-old stretch three. And for me, one of my big takeaways today is going to be exactly what this signals to me as a Warrior fan as to what this team's trying to do, because none of us really knows who Lindy Waters III is as a player. And I'm sure Guru's watched every one of his games 3 times.
No,
Guru's in the lab, and that's what he does. But the fact that they would rather not draft somebody and find a 27-year-old journeyman who's played in multiple countries and a guy who's buried on Oklahoma City's depth chart, that tells you all you need to know about where they're going this year in terms of experience versus youth.
Yeah, and the one thing I am a little leery about with Waters is, and you referred to him this way, he's a stretch 3.
Oh, yeah.
That means he doesn't work on Fridays, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem for this team.
Or Thursdays for your partner on a stretch 4. But
that hurt Dibs. Wow,
I immediately responded. The original, and Steiny, if you were a little bit more in tune, the original expression is stretch 4. And coming up on the July 4th weekend, your boy is going to stretch for us. And I'm sure we all are going to stretch for it with the 4th on a Thursday. So there you go.
Look at you.
I tell you, we got some clever people on the text line. And Enrique Rivera is saying, Lindy Waters, this could be Linsanity too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Muddy Waters. Yeah.
Right.
Very clever.
Not bad. I don't know if you did hear the interview with Kirk Lacob. What were some of your takeaways if you did? If you didn't, sorry to put you on the spot.
No, actually, number one takeaway was him talking about the dynasty being quote unquote over, and I was actually even thinking about that before you guys even talked to him, because it came up on your show a number of times today, and maybe this is a little abstract for what I get what people mean, but what does that really mean? What when someone says it's over?
you don't have a chance at all, Willard.
But in other
you know
words,
what I mean?
How do you? Okay, if you're the Warriors, let's say the Warriors actually acknowledged this privately. Yep, it's over. So you'd like them to conduct themselves how? Right? Because like nothing's ever over. It's not over. Like I think I can factually state it's not over. It doesn't like. Do you mean there's no chance for them to win?
That's what I mean when I talk about it's over.
With these players anymore, there's no chance. There's no scenario by which the Warriors compete or contend at all until we have a totally new generation of players on the roster. Is that what people mean?
Some, Willard, but not your partner. I'm telling you, you got Steph Curry and Kirk echoed that sentiment. If you got Steph, you still got action. So I'm unlike my partner. It's not over. If you sitting with Steph Curry, you still got action, Willard. Well, now he needs help. And you need to go get that help, but it's not over when you're sitting with Steph where he's at in what I deem his career.
So, Steiny, you're the one who says it more often. What do you mean it's over? Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Well, here's what I think. And when I say what it means is, you know what it means when you see a certain direction. For example, I believe the Warriors thought the dynasty was over after they lost in 19 and they knew Durant was leaving and Clay was going to miss the following year. I believe that's why they drafted James Wiseman, a project who would have a longer timetable than a traditional college guy. And then the next year, they took Jonathan Kuminga, who didn't have a lot of experience either. I would just say, if you think it was still like, okay, here, if they really thought the dynasty had a chance to continue, maybe they would have traded the number 2 pick for Miles Turner at that point.
But like, okay, so they were wrong, or were they not wrong? In other words, like the fourth championship, yes, you still had 3 of the same core players, but largely the rest of the roster is completely different. And so I get what we're talking about. I'm not dumb. We're talking about the Steph Curry dynasty, but by the same token, there's so many changes that took place, and the Warriors regenerated. And so couldn't they do that again? Isn't there, right? Sometimes I just feel like when I hear it's over, it's like people are signaling, okay, so just give up.
No.
What is that? What do you want the Warriors to do?
Well, okay, these are fair questions. Yeah. And I would say this. I would say last year, they didn't think the dynasty was over. They paid Draymond Green $100 million over 4 years. If they don't think the dynasty's over, I think Clay would be more likely to come back. Now, we're using over or not over. They could be using starting a transition as opposed to going full speed ahead. But like that's kind of. And I also think when we're talking about dynasty, we're talking about Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And to me, even though it might not be fair, if Clay's not a part of it, I think people are going to think, well, they must think it's over.
I guess my question is, do you have to declare? Like they sit here today, it's 2024, the draft is happening, it's June 27th. Does there have to be some sort of declaration as to whether or not you think the dynasty is over? Or do the Warriors actually just conduct business year by year without worrying about or even thinking about dynasties? It's here we are today. What makes us the best possible team that we can be come October? Rather than having to declare like, we talked about this the other day. It feels to me sometimes like people want someone to declare. Are you going to go for now or are you going to go for the future?
The now is what I'm talking about when you still feel like you got action,
Aren't
Willard.
you always doing both? Aren't you always doing both?
Well, what if the Warriors get Paul George, but they lose Kuminga, Moody, and Pajemski?
That's going all in.
I would say they conducted a really crappy trade. Well, is what I would say.
Basically, as far as the now or later, that is a now move because you're taking a guy who was all rookie this year, and you're taking TJ Dewey, who was more than serviceable, and you're taking Kuminga, who might be part of the future of your team, and you're sending all them out to try and go all in on the next year or two. So that is, for me, it's a now move, not a future move. But I'm kind of with Mark about declaring. You don't have to declare what you're doing. Your actions will speak louder than your words.
There you go. Exactly.
You know, the Nets trading Mikal Bridges, they're telling you that they're not really about that now life.
Yeah.
They're trying to, get picks and worry about later. And the same thing with the Spurs. And now they're 5 years removed from being a part of the now. And they're hoping that next year maybe they can be a part of the future or be a part of what's going on in the now. But the Warriors, I don't think will ever go through or try to go through a 5-year drought like San Antonio did.
Yeah, but Dibs, to that point, if we find out in 2 hours, to Willard's point, that the Warriors traded for PG-13, forget if it works or not. That is, to me, signals we're going all in.
Just like if the Warriors traded Curry for Bol and 17 picks.
Then it's over.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
it's over.
I don't think they're going to say it, but I think the type of the move will lead people to believe it's going one way or the other. All right, gents.
Oh, we're getting waved off. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Call it a 20 right now because you guys spent some time on Bronny James today. There's an update to pass along that we think that both of you will find very, very interesting. It's from someone that both of you brag that you text all the time. So Bob Myers was on ESPN just a short time ago saying this about Bronny James.
Rich Paul's calling teams, don't take Bronny James. He's telling them, do not take him, okay? He's saying, don't take him. If you take him, he's going to Australia. So he has a plan and he has a place.
But he's not telling the Lakers.
I don't know if he's telling one team that.
Mark Tatum.
Okay, there it is.
You're not Kobe.
Clutch is calling teams and telling them, don't draft Bronny. Your thoughts?
Stop it. It sounds to me like Jerry West making calls about Kobe, saying don't draft him Arn Tellem it would have been, or whoever his agent
I'm
was.
going to explain tomorrow, Willard and
Guru,
Dibs, how
you're
I
right.
feel.
He's not Kobe, but his dad is.
And I feel bad for Bronny. I'm starting to feel really bad for Bronny. I know he's got a great life. You know what? I just got my parent hat on. This is not cool.
No,
Bronny
I'm
knows.
with you.
Willard, this is not. I'm putting my dad hat on, and it's really starting to bother me. And then he ends up in the worst possible spot. Now he's going to run out there like he's a Laker, like he's earned it, and you haven't.
It's
just the greatness of your dad.
If it wasn't for his dad, he'd be playing second division in Ecuador. So he's going to get a chance to be in the association thanks to his dad.
Now everyone's
He'll
using him
be
as
the
a pawn.
real Austin Rivers.
Everyone's using him as a pawn. If LeBron,
no doubt about it.
If
Good
LeBron
work.
wasn't selfish, he never would have brought the kid's name up once in the last 2 years.
doubt about it. Willard.
I will say this: if
No doubt.
if Bronny James is not a pro player, he will not be in the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
He already is.
Well, if he can't make it, he's not going to be on a team.
I believe the worst
like you said,
part has already
Rivers.
happened.
Austin
He
Rivers
shouldn't-
was an NBA player.
And he still caught grief that he got a scholarship
He's
because
going
of
to
his
catch
dad.
grief no matter what. I'm just
Willard,
saying.
I'm with you. The pond, I like that, man. That's how I feel. And I like the kid.
The home run hitting tandem of brothers, you know who the all-time tandem is in Major League Baseball?
Lou.
It's the Aaron brothers, Hank and Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
Wow.
How many did Tommy have?
Tommy had about a dozen.
Oh, I thought you were going to say one.
Well, it's just like
I was going to go Ozzie and Jose. Yeah.
Greg Maddox and Mike Maddox have about 350 wins.
Mike Maddox was the real pitcher, though. That's a little bit of a flimsy example.
right.
Maybe if you would put the bag down and do some homework, you would have come up with more than
We're
that.
getting waved off in here,
yeah,
man.
He can't telling me get out of here because I'm going to charge him overtime.
We're getting all midsection from you right now, Steiny.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Tommy had 13, not a dozen. And look at that belt.
It's all core.
Wow, what a lovely
He got
belt.
the
Yeah,
Gucci
exactly.
belt, Dibs.
That's all core.
All right, gentlemen.
We'll be
All right,
listening.
gents.
95.7 The Game.